Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are in the world, and welcome to NAEU F1 Racing here at Rush Racing League. It is your only a single commentator today. It's me. My name is GameHawk. I hope that you guys are all excited for this race today here in Qatar, and I can't wait to see this. I think that this has probably been the most interesting track that I have experienced so far because of just the layout of it. It was built as a MotoGP circuit, and because of that, it has very little elevation change, a lot of really fast corners, so a lot of the setups are more on the downforce side, but you still want to get as much speed as possible, and that's, I think, what makes Qatar a very interesting track, and honestly one of my favorites, and I can't wait to watch this because I think so far this season every single race that we have had here in the North American division has been absolutely amazing. And I think that like every single track we see something new or something crazy happen. I mean, like even take Monaco as an example, where usually Monaco is just like no passing or anything, and we didn't get very much passing, but something incredible still happened as Tai won that race by over a minute from second place. And then even Japan, another track that's infamous for not having many overtakes, these guys were overtaking everyone. Everyone was going everywhere. It was pure chaos the entire race. So I can't wait to see what Qatar. It just feels like every single race is just like another episode in the next installment of what kind of craziness is going to happen in this F1 race. But yes, and today it is, like I said before, it is just going to be me who's commentating today. Rekus unfortunately couldn't be here, but I know that he is definitely here in spirit. I know that he definitely wanted to do this, and I actually love doing the races with him. So it is going to be very strange for me to do these, the qualifying and the race by myself, but we're gonna do our dang best. But right now we're currently waiting in the lobby. We currently have 15 drivers who are ready to go. We are waiting to see if we are going to get anyone else. I believe if we don't get anyone else, it will change to a short qualifying, as we just are currently waiting to see who will be able to join in. But we will see how this will go, and I'm actually very interested because Tuck mentioned earlier about him winning in Monaco, but Tai has actually appeared for this race. That he's been out for at least the last 2-3 races here that he hasn't been able to race, but so this will be his first one, and I'm very interested to see what he's gonna do in his debut and return. I guess not his debut, but in his return, and it's gonna be very interesting to see how this grid will go, because kind of just like some other tracks this year, this will be my first experience watching a professional race at Qatar, and I honestly can't wait to see what is going to happen, because I know how fast this track is, and I know that these drivers have definitely put in some practice to get even quicker. That even before today in this race, Meraki Dawn had actually set a new personal best for him, that in a race he hit a 120.9 going around this track. And when he told me that, I said that he better do it today, and he better have saved the setup if he wants to do that. So with 15 people, it looks like that is going to be, right now it looks like that is what's going to be the limit, as we have our 15 drivers and the countdown has started. So we'll see if they will keep the full qualifying or if it's gonna go down to short qualifying, because with only 15 drivers you can't really do a full qualifying, just because in the first qualifying 20 through 16 are eliminated. We don't have 20 through 16, so it would essentially just be a free qualifying session for everyone. So just waiting to see what happens here. But I hope if you guys are all watching from wherever you guys are in the world, I hope you guys are excited to watch this race. I mean, I really do believe that the North American division here, it is truly something special here in Rush. Like, I've watched a bunch of the other races, whether it's OCE or even some of the past races that have happened with NA and EU. There is just something different about this season that has just made it so much fun to watch and witness that, yeah, it's just there's nothing like it. And I'm very, very excited to see what the next installment will have for us. So right now, it looks like they are still waiting in the lobby. I'm not entirely sure if we are going to get anyone else or how the settings will change. We are going to go ahead and go back to the intermission screen while we wait to see the next time that you will hear my voice. Oh, Barry said, okay, that is, I do see the chat that Barry is saying that one more is trying to get in. So hopefully that one person will be able to get in, but the next time that you guys will hear my voice, we should be already ready and prepared for qualifying. So we will see you then. Alrighty, we have returned as we indeed are doing a full qualifying here for Qatar. So we will start off here in Q1 and the drivers will be out and starting right now. Our first ones on the track is going to be Autumn in the Haas and then 810 in the Williams, and they're going to be our first drivers here to do the first few laps here in qualifying, and kind of interested to see how it will turn out, as this will be the real first test to see what the drivers will do. And with 15 drivers, Q1, no one will be eliminated because Q1 is only drivers 20 through 16 that are eliminated, and with Q1, with no one, or with only 15 drivers, that means that every single driver will move on to Q2. So essentially, this is almost basically a free practice session in a way that the drivers will be able to get a feel for the track. Their setups, it won't be able to change their setups because of Parc Ferme, but it'll be a great way to get their tires warm, to get used to the track and how much grip they'll have. So it's going to be very interesting to watch and see how these drivers will do, as 810 will be the first one across the line to start his first lap. And it's going to be very interesting to see. You see almost everyone right now is on their out lap or have already started their laps. There's only a few more drivers that have not come out of the pits, but these three drivers, in my opinion, are the ones to watch. Meraki Don in the Ferrari, Tai in the McLaren, and then Alarian in the Haas. I think they're the three drivers. They're probably the three strongest drivers so far in this season. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what these drivers will be able to do here. Last race, when talking about Qatar, Alarian said that this wasn't particularly his favorite track. But Meraki Don, on the other hand, said that this is by far one of his best and his favorites. And we don't know about Tai. We don't know necessarily how he feels about this track. But at the same time, you can imagine that he is probably very, very quick and fast on this track. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the three best drivers here are going to cope, or if any of these other drivers will be able to get a kind of oh, we had a little bit of a stutter there. I got a little bit worried. But the first few drivers, Tai will set the fastest lap for right now with a minute 21.266. With 810 setting a 122.8, and then Autumn setting a 122.9. And we'll see as more and more drivers are going to come across the line, we'll get a better idea and a better sense of where these drivers stack up, as Meraki Don just a little bit off the pace right now, but not too far off. Just about 9/10 behind Tai, but he is on the mediums, which that was one thing that I actually was wondering about, just because I was actually going to wonder how many of these drivers would put on the mediums, because obviously for qualifying you want to get the fastest time, but because it is Q1 and no one is going to be eliminated, I feel like I would want to put on the mediums and almost run this like a practice session where you just get as much practice in on the different tires. But you can see only two drivers have chosen to do that. And surprisingly, it is the two Ferraris. Both Wildcat and Meraki Don are the only two drivers who came out on the mediums. Everyone else has come out on the Parasauce. And I think even in strategy sense, them running the mediums now might even save them Parasauce later in the race, or later in qualifying, or maybe even in the race, depending on what happens. So maybe an interesting, a backdoor strategy already coming in play, maybe. You see more and more times setting through, as the latest ones were Splitsy, who will get up into P3 with a minute 22.2. And then Trevor with a 122.8. And then Barry with a 1 minute 23.5. Harold with a 23.7. And then Ryan Anderson with a 134. But I believe that was because he had to get out of the way. I'm assuming, because we will see as he just sets a purple sector 1 there. So I'm assuming that he was getting out of the way, almost treating it like another outlap. Yeah, now you can see he his lap got invalidated, so he'll back off again. And you can see a lot of different drivers are having invalidated laps. So already some drivers may be testing the boundaries of the track limits. Maybe that is like the big thing, because that is one, I would say that is one area of frustration that I think a lot of people have, is that this track is very fast just because of the high-speed turns and then the need for downforce. But another gripe about it is just the track limits. Because of how fast some of these turns are, track limits almost become a suggestion. And with qualifying, it becomes frustrating because you obviously want to get as fast of a lap as possible. You want to put everything out on the track. But then when it comes to the race, the track limits almost become a suggestion, just because coming into some of the turns, you might expect to see 2 or 3 wide, and just maybe going into some of the turns, just nowhere to go. So I'm interested to see how much of an issue track limits are going to become, not only later in qualifying, but also in the race. So Trevor did set a time, so he will retire, which it won't make that much of a difference because it is Q1. And so far, Kuznick is the biggest jumper so far here, as he sets his lap, and he's at a 1 minute 22.6. Other than that, everyone else has kind of stayed the same so far. And Wildcat, we talked about Wildcat earlier being on the mediums, and he put in a 1 minute 22.9, still ahead and in the top 10 right now. So really, really good progress there, even on the mediums. I mean, Meraki Don in P2 on the mediums, P8 for Wildcat on the mediums. Not a bad job whatsoever, as now there are only 3 drivers who have not put in a lap, Illyrian being one of them. As you can see that he had invalidated his lap, but now we'll see if he's going to peel into the pits, and yes, he will peel into the pits, probably for fuel. But Lopro still in the pits, hasn't set a lap, and David in the Red Bull is also one of the last drivers who has not set a lap time, but he is on an outlap right now. So far, haven't had anything too agreed. Wait, there is a McLaren that is off the mark. And yeah, it's Tai over in the gravel. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure what the strategy is here, as he's taking his McLaren off road. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing, but he's over there doing some rally racing. As 810 will become the second driver to retire, as his time is a 1 minute 22.8 as well, just ahead of Trevor. And then Tai still off onto the gravel, as Meraki Don will try and set another lap time here on the mediums, and he will get closer, but definitely not quite enough to beat Tai's time, as now he's a 1 minute 21.9. But I really think that if he puts on the softs, I really do think that he is going to beat Tai's time. And which, speaking of which, Tai will finally get out of the gravel, and he will finally peel into the pits. I'd be very curious to see or hear from him what that was about, because we cut to him and he's over in the gravel. So I'm not entirely sure what that was about, but oh, and now look at this. Another driver who has jumped up the leaderboard, Ryan Anderson, has jumped up into P4 with a minute 22.5. A great lap there will set him into P4. John will be the third driver to retire here with a 1 minute 24.3. As then you can see the majority of drivers are either on out laps or low pro right now. And David are trying to set their laps. David's lap was invalidated, but he will just go ahead and start a new one. As low pro will be the next driver, should be the next driver across the line. Tai will retire from Q1 with his personal best time right now of a 121.2. That was a really good start through those turns in Sector 3. Really good job by Low Pro. We'll see where this will place him. Is that he will send up into P4. He will take over P4 from Ryan with a 122.2, just behind Splitsy. A good lap there from Low Pros. I mean, you can see a lot of these drivers are really, really good. And if that is accurate, Illyrian just set a purple Sector 1. So that is going to be very interesting. But the main thing that he's been having issues with has been track limits. So the biggest question will be, can he keep that Haas within track limits? As he sets a purple Sector 2 as well. He is on a flyer of a lap right now. And it's going to come down to Sector 3 of whether he can stay inside of track limits. He will. As coming through Sector 3 through the final turn. And now heading down the front stretch. Is it enough to beat Tai's time? And it won't be. He misses out in Sector 3. But he does get ahead of Meraki Dawn with a time of a 1 minute 21.7. 5/10 behind Tai. As now you saw there, Meraki Dawn went back out. This time he's going to set a lap on the softs. So now this is Meraki Dawn's chance. This is his first laps on the soft compound, the best tire for qualifying. And he set the other one on mediums. So I'm very curious. The other day, like I said in the intro, he told me that he hit a 120.9 on this track, on this very track in qualifying. So I wouldn't doubt that he's going to try and do the same performance, try and replicate that performance. So far, no other retirements quite yet, as Illyrian will more than likely be going back into the pits. Meraki Dawn right now, more than likely the next driver to get a lap in. Barry did start another lap. He's right now in P12. But other than that, still no other times to report. David has not reported a lap quite yet. He is on his out lap as well. So now we'll go on board for this qualifying lap to go with Meraki Dawn as he goes around through Sector 1. That in Sector 1 can be very, very interesting. A lot of people tend to lose grip going through Turn 1. It can be a very unstable place to unsettle a lot of cars, but you can see Meraki Dawn doing a great job of keeping it there as he almost spins there. But he does set a purple Sector 1. As now heading through Sector 2. So now you can see the majority of drivers are now retiring. You can see that Meraki Dawn, he is putting everything out on the track. Because he wants that right now. As Low Pro and Harold will retire from Q1 as well. And Meraki Dawn didn't get a purple Sector 2, but Sector 3, it seems to be the place where a lot of time is won or lost here so far in qualifying. As he heads around the final turn and down the front stretch. One more time. And it won't be enough. He shaves half a second off of his time, but he misses out by 0.2 of a second from Tai. So we reclaim second place from Illyrian, but it won't be quite enough. And I don't know, it looks like he might be trying to go for another lap, but we will see. As David has yet to set a lap time right now. Barry was there to get out of the way. As now with David being the last driver, he has had some issues with track limits as well that have invalidated his laps. And it does it again there. We talk about track limits and how tough they are. And right there, it strikes again, as it won't be. I'm sliding. I wouldn't blame him, sliding out of frustration. Barry will come across the line, as now he will start his lap. David will retire. So I believe that Barry will be the last one. And it looks like Meraki Don will go. Illyrian will retire from the side, as Barry is the last one on track to set a final lap time before we head into Q2. And qualifying will end there, as Barry and Wildcat was able to start another lap. So this will also be Wildcat's first start, or first laps on the soft compound as well. So we will see how much of an improvement he will make. Barry did shave off 0.3 from his final time, from his last time, heading down the front stretch, kept it just in bounds. And he will improve, but it won't be enough to move up the leaderboard. He shaves off half a second off his time, but it won't be enough. So now that will leave Wildcat behind him, as Wildcat will be the last driver, and we'll see if there is an improvement. So far, it looks like there might be. We will see. We'll see where that places Wildcat, as they will improve up into 7th. A good result there from Wildcat there. His first lap on the soft tires propels him into P7. And that will end the first qualifying session, as our current standings is Tai, Meraki Don, Illyrian, Splitsy, Low Pro, Ryan Anderson, Wildcat, Kruznerik, 810, Trevor, Autumn, Barry, Harold, John, and David. So now heading into Q2. Now comes the actual competition, as now drivers 15 through 11 will be eliminated after this qualifying. So that first qualifying session, no one got eliminated. But now this is going to be the hard part. Now these drivers are going to have to, again, put everything they can out on the track to try and get into Q3. It's 15 minutes on the clock for these drivers, and we will see which one of these drivers will be the first one. And it looks like it will be Illyrian, actually. You can see several drivers getting through, and Illyrian will be the one who will lead the pack, as Tai is behind the Mercedes of Trevor. You can see a lot of the drivers heading out right now. You can see this time, no one on the mediums this time. Everyone will more than likely start on the soft compound. And we will see. Yeah, I mean, you can see right there now. I know that a lot of the drivers would be interested to go out and set new lap times. I don't know if I was necessarily expecting this many drivers to go out. That you can see only 3 drivers are currently in the pit. Actually make that only 2 drivers, as now Ryan Anderson now leaves the pit in his Kick Sauber. So there's only 2 drivers who are sitting in the pits, as Illyrian will be the first one to cross the line and start the official qualifying. And I'm going to be very curious. I'm surprised that a lot of these drivers left at the same time, because now with all these drivers next to each other, now you have to contend with Dirty Air, and Dirty Air is flatly going to ruin your qualifying, especially at a track like Qatar, where it is a lot of high-speed turns, not much elevation or any sort of grooves that you can rely on. Dirty Air can really just ruin your lap time. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they're going to do. You can see Tai peeled out of the way. I believe that's 810. Yeah, 810 is over in the gravel, but I believe he was also peeling out of the way and making sure that he doesn't impede anyone else. And just like that, we'll see Illyrian's time, if he stays in the track limits, which it looks like so far he is, he will set the benchmark as across the start finish line through DRS, and he will set the precedent with a 122.2. So now we will see what other times are set. Autumn will set a 1:23. And the Trevor in his will set his first lap. David going ahead and putting in the lap time. He will overtake for first place right now, as he actually is faster than Meraki Don by 2/10. David did not set a lap time in the first session. He constantly had track limits and fractions, but finally he gets a lap down and he sets up a good time. Meraki Don with a 121.5, Kuznirik with a 121.8, Barry with a 122.5, Wildcat with a 123, Harold and Autumn with a 123, and then John with a 1:24. So we'll see where any of these other drivers will stack, especially Tai. The Tai originally on that outlap, and oh, that is not going to work. Lost it coming out through sector 1 and into the gravel and spun. He's lucky that he didn't hit the wall at all, but that'll definitely compromise his lap. And Tai will have to wait before he sets another lap time. And I think this is another driver that we should be looking out for, Splitsy. Ever since he started in Brazil, he has actually had very good results so far. And I have no doubt that he would be looking to continue that success here in Qatar. He did get into the top 5, I believe, for Q1, or at least he was close originally. Because now he will head toward the front stretch. We'll see right now where he'll be placed, as he will be up into P4 with a 1:22.064. A very good lap time there for Splitsy. There's now 810 is on his outlap right now. Tai right now, I'm not entirely sure if Tai is going to go into the pits. I'm assuming he's going to go into the pits. Yeah, he's going to go into the pits with Ryan Anderson, as now the only driver on his outlap that has not set a time is 810 in the Williams. So he will go ahead and start his lap time right now, as Illyrian will go back out. Now he is also on his out lap as well. And I'm curious to see where 810 will end up. That a lot of these drivers have somewhat been close, surprisingly. That I think the qualifying times were actually a little bit closer than what I was anticipating. That really, it's going to come down to Q3, obviously, to see who's going to get the top spot. But if Q3 is going to be anything close to Q2, it's going to be a very, very tight, close battle to see who is going to get pole position. Heading through Sector 3. It said A10, I believe A10 just set a purple Sector 2. As now he heads through Sector 3. Track limits. I think Sector 3 is where track limits are usually tested. As now he'll head back down the front stretch. Use everything to get across the line, and he will be up into P4 with a 1 minute 21.9. A very good lap time there from 810. And that will put him up into P4. Illyrian already started his lap. Tai now back out on his out lap as well. Illyrian will set a purple Sector 1. So far, I mean, we can see purple sectors being thrown left, right, and center. It seems that just every time we switch to a new driver, one of the drivers just takes over the start of the purple sector. So I'm just very curious to see if anyone is going to get a faster time than David. And David will go ahead and start another lap as well. So I'm really curious to see if any drivers are going to start. As we now pass 6 minutes, as that was really close, as Tai gets out of the way of Illyrian, as now Illyrian will go down the front stretch, and it won't be enough. And just about 200th of a second behind Meraki Dawn, as Meraki Dawn also started his lap as well. Tai in the background behind Illyrian will start his lap. So all the leaders right now are out on the track. Because then you can see Meraki Dawn there. The Haas, I believe, of Autumn is the one who will get out of the way and not impede. As Meraki Dawn will set purple Sector 2, another purple Sector 2, because why not? But I think so far, it looks like Sector 3 has been the trickiest part so far. That Sector 3 has been the place where either a lot of time is made up or lost. And that is that is rough. And that is a good job by Meraki Dawn to get out or over into the pit lane to get another chance, as the final corner invalidates his lap because of going off track. Trevor sets a time at a 1 minute 23.2. And Tai will not set a lap either, also invalidating. So I think right now, Trevor's in the hot seat because he has not set a lap time yet. He is going to have to hurry and go. David did not improve on his lap time, so he will retire from the session right now with the first place. Illyrian also retires from Q2 in P3 currently. So far right now, Autumn is the only one on track. As now I believe that John in the Racing Bull will be the next one on track. Yeah, he will start his out lap. But I think the biggest thing that we're going to have to watch here is for Tai. And you can see already immediately he's starting back out onto the track as just about 3 minutes right now left here in Q2, as the lap times here 1:20, and before, as they do the outlap, you got to do the outlap and then you got to do the lap. So if for most of these drivers, if you want to go ahead and set another lap time, this is going to be your last chance for Q2. Is right now in the drop zone. Right now, surprisingly, we have Wildcat in P11, Trevor in P12, Harold in P13, John in P14, and then Tai in P15. And I think this is going to be the crazy part, is now we have almost side-by-side racing, as Tai is racing Autumn, as Autumn is on his fast lap and Tai is on his lap. There's almost contact. Oh my goodness, I did not think we were going to see this. Almost side-by-side racing, as Tai is just trying to get past, and Autumn is just trying to set his fastest lap. He'll go off the track, but that'll do it, and he will bail out of the lap, out of the way. I did not think we were going to see side-by-side racing in qualifying, but I guess that was the start there. As Tai will be, both McLarens, Tai and Barry, will begin their laps. As right now we'll focus on Tai, as he has not set a lap. This more than likely will be his last chance. That there won't be enough time to really set another lap. So if he doesn't set a good lap here, there is a chance that Tai could be eliminated in Q2. As you can see, he is just testing the elements, and that does it. He goes off track in Sector 1, and it invalidates the lap. So now the question now becomes, does he have enough chance to get back in time, or will that do it? And you can see what well, you can see it, Tai aggressive plan, cutting the track to try and get enough. He will bail out of the way and let his teammate through. Very interesting idea of how to get through to try and get another lap time. As Meraki Don has entered the pits, he won't set another lap time. Barry right now, Kuznarek will get out of the way. Barry will be the next one across the line, and we will see where this time will put him, and it won't be anything to do to improve. And now Tai will crash, and I believe he probably did it on purpose, as Barry got across just in time before the finish. And Tai, one of the fastest drivers, will be eliminated in Q2. Harold will also be eliminated in Q2. As now Wildcat, Trevor, and John right now in the drop zone, trying to find any sort of improvement to see if they can get out of elimination. Low Pro will come across the line in P9. He is also currently in danger. Trevor will choose to retire from the qualifying, so Trevor will be eliminated for sure. John entered the pits. He will be eliminated. So now it comes down to Wildcat as the last driver in the drop zone with a chance to improve. He does stay on the track, as now it comes down to the final turn. If he keeps it within the white lines, he does. Down the front stretch, will he improve? He will! Into P10! And Wildcat with a clutch time will get across the line. Barry will peel into the pits, and that will do it. Wildcat with a clutch qualifying performance there, just enough to knock Autumn out of qualifying in Q2, and Wildcat will move on into Q3. a great job there. I believe that we're just waiting for Barry, I believe, and then the game will choose to continue on. Yeah, and there we go. This was just qualifying 2. Now, I'm going to be very, very interested to see how qualifying 3 is going to go. As now the surprising one, David in the Red Bull, setting the fastest lap for qualifying 2. Meraki Dawn in P2, Illyrian in 3rd, Kuznick in 4th, 810 in 5th, Splitsy in 6th, Ryan in 7th, Barry in 8th, Lowpro in 9th, and Wildcat in 10th. And our eliminated drivers, Autumn in 11th, Trevor in 12th, Harold in 13th, John in 14th, and Tai, the most shocking one, out of Q2, having not set a lap. I think that is probably the biggest shock so far here in Qatar. And we still got one more qualifying to go. So now it's all on the line to see who is going to get that coveted pole position. And I can tell you from experience that getting the front row on Qatar can be very, very instrumental in allowing someone to win the race. Because Qatar is not necessarily the toughest track to pass, but it is definitely a very hard track just because the front straightaway is really your biggest opportunity to pass with the DRS zone. But other than that, it usually comes down to speed and how gutsy the drivers are going to be willing to do. So you can see a lot of the drivers going out right now. So now, with all the drivers here, you can see a little bit of a stack up there. Meraki Dawn staying within the white lines. Look at that! Talk about ingenuity and taking advantage. Meraki Dawn stayed within the white lines of the pit limits and somehow passed the other 4 cars that were ahead of him. Usually you see that going into the pits. You don't usually see that coming out of the pits, especially in qualifying. But at a track like Qatar, you want to be ahead of a group because the dirty air, like I said before, the dirty air will 100% ruin your lap. So if you can be by yourself or at least leading a group, you take that chance, and that is what Meraki Dawn has done. So right now, everyone other than 3 drivers are currently on their outlap, and actually I take that back. Everyone except Illyrian is now going to be on their outlap. Illyrian being the only one in the pit lane. Is now Splitsy will be the first one across the line. And now even Illyrian is getting away. So we will have all 10 drivers here on the track really early. I mean, we have still 10 minutes to go here in Q3. But every single driver just wants to get out there and just set a time. The Splitsy will be the first one ahead of the group, not dealing with any dirty air. And Meraki Dawn is behind him just enough that it will not affect him at all either. As you can see Splitsy there, and then you can see Meraki Dawn in the background behind him. As now this is not the fight to not be eliminated, but now it's the fight to get pole position. And now you can see almost everyone has started their qualifying laps right now. Only the 3 who were in the pits are still on their out laps. As now Splitsy will be the first one across the line. He will set the benchmark as he will come across the line, and he will set a 1:21.6, a fantastic starting qualifying lap, as the Meraki Dawn's lap time will actually be a 10th slower. So Splitsy right now holding pole position. Kuznirik will be a 1 minute 22.077. Barry a 122.665. And Illyrian will start. 810 will go back into the pits, not setting a lap. As now Ryan Anderson will be the next leader of the group in his Kick Sauber. And we'll see what lap time he will set. Because now he will set a purple sector 2. So Ryan Anderson, it seems that all of these drivers are very close in pace, and not only very close in pace, but just kind of taking turns passing the purple sectors to each other, just saying, here, all right, you could take it this time, and I'll take it the next time, and then I'll take it the next time. So now we'll see what Ryan Anderson will set, and he will be up into P4 with a 1 minute 22.2. And you can see Meraki Dawn will peel, or sorry, Wildcat will go into the pit, so Wildcat will not set a lap time. As now Low Pro will set a lap time. He'll be the next one, and he will go up into P2. And he is just a 10th off of Splitsy. So Splitsy will retain his provisional pole for now, as Low Pro sets it a P2 with a 1 minute 21.678. And we will see as now Illyrian will now be the next driver. Illyrian will take over pole with a 1 minute 21.481. Illyrian with the fastest time. The man who said that Qatar was not his favorite track has now set pole position for right now. Provisional pole, I should say, right here in Q3. And how about that? The driver who said that he didn't like this track has now taken over provisional pole for now. And it looks like 810 will be the next driver over, assuming that Ryan and Low Pro will peel into the pit, as 810 would then be on the track by himself with Illyrian. As now, yes, Ryan will peel into the pits, and then we will see if Low Pro will also go into the pit. So now 810 will be the last driver currently setting a lap time, as he will go ahead and start it. We'll go on board. And so far, really good control so far going through Sector 1, through those weaving turns. So far, really good control. I mean, it seems that as the qualifying has gone on, in Q1, it kind of looked like all the drivers were kind of slipping and sliding. And even in Q2, we had a lot of drivers that were slipping. But so far, Q3 has gone better. It hasn't gotten better for 810, as that last turn will invalidate his lap. So the lap will not count. He'll have to do another one, as we now have 5 minutes remaining here in qualifying, as 810, Wildcat, and David are the last drivers to not set a lap time. Because now Low Pro will slide, and he's going to slide off the track, and it will be going around backwards. As now Barry will join him on the out lap. Meraki Dawn also on an out lap. So now Meraki Dawn will start his lap time. 810 will peel into the pits. You know Meraki Dawn, you know that he is looking to get a better lap. He was feeling fantastic going into this race, going into qualifying, and you know that he wants to keep that momentum going. So now it'll come down to this. With 340, Meraki Dawn, if he really wants to, he could maybe set this time, go to the pits, and then maybe get back out, but it would be pushing it. As now he will set a purple sector 1, 2 tenths faster than Illyrian's time, purple sector time, as now he'll go through sector 2 and see if he keeps up that momentum. As now, oh, he will invalidate. He will invalidate in sector 2. Track limits strike again, as that will ruin Meraki Dawn's lap here, as he did set the purple sector 1, but it won't matter. And I can imagine that he's probably going to either save ERS, maybe peel into the pits, but I'm not sure. But we will see what he does, as Barry, he will peel into the pits, as Barry is going to be the next one, but his lap is also invalidated. So with time running out, we're coming down to the final stretch to see whether Illyrian will hold on to his provisional pole, or will someone else take it away from him. Right now, Illyrian in P1, Splitsy P2, Low Pro P3, Meraki Dawn P4, Kuznirik P5, Ryan Anderson P6, Barry P7, 810 P8, Wildcat P9, David P10. And still surprisingly, Wildcat and David have not set a lap time. David has not gone out on track at all so far here in qualifying. And with a minute and 50 to go, if they are going to set a lap time, you're going to have to try and set it now. Otherwise, you are not going to have another opportunity to do so. As now Barry is still the only driver who is not on an out lap. And I believe Splitsy will be the first. Yeah, Splitsy will be the first of the group to start their times, and he will cross the line with a minute 15 to go here in Q3. As now, for a lot of these drivers, this is going to be their last shot. This is going to be their last shot to improve their times. And you know, for Splitsy, he hasn't been in this series long, but if you want to make your mark, you're definitely going to want to by getting pole position here late in the season. But again, I think the biggest enemy so far in qualifying, Splitsy will set a purple sector 1. The biggest enemy so far for all these drivers have been track limits, that a lot of these drivers will be setting blazing fast times, but then they will accidentally go off of the track over the white line, and then their laps are invalidated, and it's all for nothing. So now, with just about 10 seconds to go, David and Wildcat will start their times, and Meraki Dawn will also get a lap time. So all drivers will now be setting their final lap times. Splitsy will be the first one across the line. We will see an improvement, no track limits. Here he goes across the line, DRS, and he will take over provisional pole with a 1 minute 21. 810 will improve as well with a 1 minute 21.951 into P5. Splitsy will keep it into provisional pole, but will it stay? Ryan Anderson across the line, and he's up into P3 with a 121.4. Kuznirik will come across the line in P7. So now Barry will be the next one across the line in the group. Or sorry, Illyrian will be. And no, his time is invalidated. So he will come across the line. There will be no rebuttal. So now Illyrian will not be able to respond. And now here comes Barry. Does he have any improvement? And he does have an improvement, but it won't be enough. He will remain in P8. Low Pro gets an improvement as well into P4. Now Meraki Dawn going across. Wildcat comes in P9. And now his lap is invalidated. And David will take over. Oh my goodness. David in the Red Bull does it again with a 1 minute 20.7. He will take over pole position from Splitsy at the very last possible moment. You cannot make this up. Unbelievable. So now that is the end of qualifying 3. We'll quickly go through the order. David gets pole position with 1:20. Split C front row in P2. Illyrian P3. Ryan P4. Low Pro P5. Meraki P6. 810 P7. Kuznick P8. Barry P9. Wildcat P10. Unbelievable qualifying. And that was qualifying. We still got a race to do. We still got a 50% race here to do here in Qatar. And I have a feeling it is going to get very interesting. If track limits were already an issue, I can imagine track limits is going to be a nightmare here for the drivers as we head into the actual race, and the drivers will make sure their setups are all correct, make sure their strategies are set, and we will be ready to go. And now here we go. The 5 lights are on. And we are underway here in the Qatar Grand Prix. David will get a somewhat good launch. He will get a good launch and away from the rest of the grid. Illyrian gets a fantastic launch into P2. We got a lockup by Meraki Don, and he will sail into P4. As you can see, chaos has erupted behind. As now it looks like the leaders have someone going. There's a lot of traffic going around, but it looks like the drivers will somehow survive it all. It didn't look like there was any sort of contact or damage strewn around so far. Maybe a little bit of close for comfort, but so far right now, very, very close indeed. You can see how close the drivers are right now. And so far the leaders as well. David with a 0.7 second gap ahead of Illyrian. And look at this. So far through this, Meraki Dawn, you can see he is the only. And now Autumn. It looked like Autumn had a spin. It looked like he did have a spin. He'll fall down to the P4. No safety car. So nothing happened. No safety car. It looked like maybe it was just a spin. As David will right now get just barely a second gap ahead. And it looks like, yes, he will lead a second ahead. He will set the fastest lap. And now here we go. And now already maybe making a move. Meraki Dawn to the inside of Illyrian going down to the turn 1. And he is going to get the move done on that soft compound. The only driver to start the race on that soft compound. So now he will move up into P2, and he is going to try and chase down David. And now Illyrian will fight to keep pace. So you can see kind of the gap already beginning to be formed, as Illyrian is right behind Meraki Dawn, but Low Pro is already at a second and a half behind. And we have our first penalty. 810 will get a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. It will be a 3-second penalty to serve at the end of the race. So that will be our first penalty of the race. And now 810 falling down the order. There is a caution. He's off into the gravel. And now 810 will fall down into last place. Not a very good start for him. As now already, look at Meraki Dawn. Meraki Dawn is already making up so much ground to David, and he is going to have DRS down the straight. As now Autumn 8 will also get a 3-second time penalty for track limits violation. So now here we go. Meraki Dawn will set the fastest lap. He's got DRS and ERS, and now here he comes hard charging. Where is he going to go? He's going to go to the outside. It won't be able to hold. He won't be able to hold it, but he will stay right behind, right on his tail. As now we have the top 3 right here all together, and all fighting for that top spot. You can see just how close Meraki, and you can see right there, I think that is probably the best way. That's probably the best way that you can see it. The effect of the dirty air. You can just see that how much a rough time Illyrian is having going into the turns behind Meraki Dawn. But I will say, though, it'll be a question of how long will the softs last, because we have 29 laps, and it's obviously still very early in the race. You can see how much everyone is bunched up together. And I do see you in the chat, so if the Discord link is not working, I can help you out, because we love getting you guys here into Rush Racing League. I will go ahead and post that link for you right there. We're willing to help out as now DRS and ERS, maybe another move. Is he going to try and make it stick on the outside? It looks like Meraki Dawn's trying. He really wants that outside to stick, but it just won't work. There's now maybe another lap of being behind David. David is doing a great job of defending as he holds his line. He makes his one move to the inside. And then he forces Meraki Dawn to the outside, where it looks like just the outside just doesn't have as much grip, even on the soft compound. But now here is actually the other interesting part about this. We talked about the most dangerous driver, one of the most dangerous drivers, Tai, who went out in Q2. Now he is up into P4. He started 15th, and now he is up into P4, 2 seconds and climbing towards Illyrian. And it's just going to be just... Yeah, I just feel like this is going to become like just a big question mark, just because you don't really know what's going to happen. As now more time penalties being handed out to the Mercedes. McQueen with a 3-second time penalty. Autumn will get another time penalty. And now maybe looking at a move there, but maybe just not enough. As you can see, Meraki Dawn, he gets close. He's right there behind David, but he just doesn't have enough space to make a move, or at least make the move that he wants to. So maybe it's going to be very interesting too, because as we said before, he's on the soft compound. He's the only driver on the soft compound. And every other driver went the medium or the hard compound. So I'm going to be very interested to see where that will fit in terms of the strategy for him. As now it looks like maybe the pace is already falling off. As you can see through Sector 2, he's losing a lot of time. Kuznarek will get a penalty as well. 810 had to pit, so 810 will also now be on the soft tires. Still no cautions, still no real safety cars so far. As now maybe a little, you see the time lost, and maybe the softs are finally starting to wear out. And now it looks like it is Illyrian's turn, as now he will defend the inside, but it won't matter, as Illyrian will go blasting past Meraki Dawn up into P2. And the battle for P2 will continue once again. And you can see Tai already making up time, as now he's just about a second and a half behind. And now there's going to be a 10-second penalty. 10-second penalty handed out to John for a collision. 10-second penalty handed out to 810 for corner cutting. You can see he's off into the gravel. John has damage. I'm not entirely sure what is happening. A safety car has now been deployed. And then you can see the penalties are just getting handed out. And this safety car, this is a gift for Meraki Dawn. Because this is going to give him a free pit stop to change his tires, because you knew he was losing pace, and he was losing it quick. You could see how much of a pace he was losing from just even those 5 laps away from David, and then how quickly Illyrian passed him. So this is definitely going to help. And now another penalty as 810 has 26 seconds of penalties. John has a drive-through penalty as well. And then you can see Autumn has 6-second penalties, and then Kuzmarek and McQueen have 30 seconds of penalties for themselves as well. So now here's also going to be the question. So now David is also peeling into the pits. Illyrian as well. It looks like everyone is peeling into the pits. So now the question is going to be, who's going to be the one that takes the risk? That Splitsy, Ryan, it looks like everyone is going into the pits. Yeah, Harold going into the pits. Kuzmarek going into the pits. Autumn into the pits as well. It looks like the entire field is pitting under the safety car. So how about that? The entire field pit under safety car. As you can see, everyone has switched. Meraki Dawn has switched to the medium compound. David has switched to the hards. Illyrian to the hard. It looks like the majority of the field has switched from the mediums to the hard compound. As now the safety car will begin to drive and will begin to lead the field. More than likely with reforming the grid. More than likely we will begin racing on either lap 9 or lap 10. More than likely. But already, very interesting race with a lot of implications. And like we said, those soft tires were losing a lot of pace very quickly. And that safety car is what saved Meraki Dawn, because he knew that with this free pit stop, he's going to be able to change his tires, get more pace back, and be able to get back into the lead without losing any time of worrying about the pit stop. As now the grid is already reforming. The lights are still on, so more than likely they will not. Yeah, the safety car will not be in this lap. So they will have at least one more lap to go around. Yeah, they will start their next lap. The only 2 drivers to be left. Autumn will peel into the pits. I'm assuming to pit for either repairs or for different change of tires. But then John and 810 will be the last drivers. They're still kind of... John will have another 3-second penalty added on. Just these 2 drivers, and now there's contact. As both John and 810 having kind of a full-on brawl, as they just, neither one of them are happy with each other. Lopro does have damage to his front wing, and I can't imagine that the stewards are going to be very happy about the development and what they're doing. As now John will peel into the pits again. 810 will do the exact same thing. And he's going to get another 10-second penalty. It's 39 seconds of penalties for 810 as he purposely tried to hit John. And 810 will retire in the pit lane. And that will end at least his side of the brawl. But because of all the penalties that John has, his race is more than likely over. Even if he continues to race as well. The grid's still reforming. Autumn is the last driver who would reform. Lights are still on, so we will see if we will restart here going into lap 9 or if we will get it going into lap 10. So no, the lights are still on, so it looks like we are going to do one more lap under safety car, so we will restart the race for lap 10, surprisingly. You see all the drivers weaving and warming up their tires. And I think all the pressure is going to be on David here, because you're going to have to get the best possible restart to really kind of secure your place. You saw how good that launch ended up helping him, because I mean, David got a fantastic launch off the line, and you saw how much of a difference it made, because Illyrian and Meraki Dawn also launched up the line. Tai launched up the line, and how much of a good start can affect like what positions that you gain. So John is the last one of the line. More than likely, he will be able to either join up with the rest of the grid, or maybe just at the very end. Still going through right now. Still under safety cars. Still no indication that it's going in this lap as they enter Sector 3. And there it is. Race control says safety car is in this lap. So now David will take control of the field. So now, here comes the tough part. To get the absolute best launch that you can. There is no overtaking until the start-finish line, and there is no DRS on this starting lap. So it's going to come down to pure launch and pure speed. But because of how long this straight is, it's going to come down to how good. You can see David taking the outermost edge of the turn. And now there he goes, and he's going to spin his wheels on the start. So they're he's not really going to get a great start. Meraki Dawn got the best launch he could, and you can see everyone right there. Illyrian is going to be side by side. 3 wide going into turn 1. Who's going to hold it? Illyrian on to the middle. Meraki Dawn on the inside. And now he's on the outside. There's still 3 wide. A little bit of contact. How in the world more contact? Somehow still not in. Tai. Through goes Tai into P2. Meraki Dawn holds on to the lead, and Tai will take over P2. David in P3, Illyrian in P4. That was unbelievable. We talked about it in the safety car, how crucial the restart was going to be, and look at what happened. David spun his wheels trying to get the restart going on that hard compound. The spinning of the wheels did not help him, and you could see how much everyone else was ready to pounce on the mistake as going 3 wide into turn 1. And I'm just more shocked that no one had damage, or at least I didn't see anyone take damage through the little bits of contact that they were having. Meraki Dawn already up a 1.5 seconds. Trevor will get a 3-second penalty. Splitsy gets a 3-second penalty. Track limit striking again. As now Meraki Dawn will lead the grid down. DRS is now enabled for this lap. And now McQueen will get a 10-second penalty, and McQueen will retire from the session, our second retirement of the race. And you can see just how fast Meraki Dawn is right now, as now he is a 1.5 seconds up on Tai. David still holding on strong there in P3, still within DRS range behind Tai. Illyrian the same. And Lopro looked like he originally was having issues with pace because of everyone else kind of getting having just better runs and passes. But now Lopro, he's doing a good job. He is holding on strong with Lopro is holding on strong with Illyrian's pace. As now a great job altogether. It's just, that was just an unbelievable restart. I wish that we could go back here and replay. Kuznarek will get his 3 second time penalty, so that'll be 6 seconds for him. As now Trevor is really close. He is right behind Splitsy right now. As now here we go with the first lap of DRS enabled. Down the front stretch we go. Is Trevor going to be able to make a move? He's got the ERS, now he's got the DRS. Is he going to make the move? He's going to go to the inside. Is he going to be able to hold on to it? He will, and Trevor will move up a place, passing Splitsy into P6. And you can see David making time, or making up time against Tai Tai is now, he is less than half a second behind. And now Tai Tai gets a 3-second penalty. So track limits strikes again, this time at the front of the grid, as Tai Tai now has a 3-second penalty. And that will more than likely come back to bite him if he wants to win this race. And so now the biggest question here, you can see how close he is to Tai Tai right now going through Sector 3. The DRS, really the best overtaking possibility here on this track. And now Trevor will get another 3-second time penalty. That'll make it 6 seconds. Autumn will move up into P11, passing Harold. And now here we go into DRS range. David behind Tai Tai. He's going to have the ERS. He has the DRS. And you can see how much it matters as now David's going to go to the inside, and he is going to get around Tai Tai and get the move done as David moves into P2, passing Tai Tai, but Tai Tai is not giving up quite yet as he is still right on his tail. And Illyrian slowly losing pace as well. A second 0.7 behind Tai Tai right now, but he is now 2 seconds ahead of Low Pro. So already the gap starting to form between the leaders and the rest of the grid. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the race will go. Wildcat will move up past Harold into P12. As now Wildcat is trying to make up for maybe a little bit of a poor start. As you can see, Wildcat is now chasing down Autumn in P11 as well. And now Wildcat, unfortunately, will get the 3-second time penalty for track limits violation. Qatar is probably the hardest track. And now look at this. David has made up ground on Marakidan. Marakidan guarding the inside. It doesn't matter. David blast past through the outside, and David goes back up into the lead past Marakidan. And now Splitsy and Trevor fighting for P6. They are side by side, going through the same area, still side by side. This tricky left-hander, and Trevor will be able to hold on and keep his P6 for right now. As now you can see how close these top three are right now. David, Marakidan, and Tai Tai. All three of them within a second of each other. And I think, honestly, for me, I'm curious to see what will happen here in a couple laps in the DRS zone, because at one point, Marakidan and Tai Tai will have DRS, and they'll both be chasing down David. And I'm curious to see if we're going to have another 3-wide scenario as the two cars who have DRS are going to try and chase down the leader. As now Marakidan is just at a second. I think he did get DRS. As now Tai Tai also has DRS. He's going to break the toe for a second. As now it looks like he's going to make a move. And now safety car deployed. A safety car is deployed. I'm not entirely sure why the safety car was deployed. I do not see why, but safety car is deployed, and you can see how many drivers peeled into the pits immediately. And we have our second safety car of the day. And I was actually wondering, I was looking at Ty's onboard, and I was wondering why David and Meraki Dawn were slowing down, but it's because the safety car was out. Didn't even realize. But the safety car now out. And we can see right now by the pit stops, and you can see who has pit stopped twice. Illyrian is the leader of the group who did pit stop again, with Illyrian from P5, Illyrian down to P12 with Wildcat, all stopped for a second time. The top four, David, Meraki Dawn, Tai, and Ryan, were already the top three, David, Meraki Dawn, and Tai, were already past the pit lane when the safety car came out. Ryan is the only driver so far that did not go in to get a pit stop. He is so far the only one who did not go in for a pit stop with everyone else. Now, I'll take a quick look as well, looking at the current state of the penalties. And right now, it's all track limits. 3 seconds, 6 seconds, 3 and 6 seconds across the board. And I think that the penalties are really going to decide who's going to win this race. So now I'm very curious to see, are the top three going to peel into the pits? I think that is going to be a question. Meraki Dawn will. Whoa! Whoa! Meraki Dawn! Wait! Meraki Dawn has been disqualified from the session! Oh my goodness! Meraki Dawn peeled out of the way to go pit, and he got disqualified from the session. I don't know what I just witnessed. He peeled right to go into the pits, and the game has disqualified him from the session. I don't know if I've ever seen this. I'm speechless. Meraki Dawn was peeling right to go for a pit stop, and the game gave him a 10-second penalty and then disqualified him immediately. I wouldn't be surprised if that would be under review very quickly. But that is absurd in every sense. But I guess for right now, Meraki Dawn is out of the race for right now. As now David in P1, Ryan in P2, Illyrian in P3. Tai out of that group did peel into the pits, and he is now in P10. I've never seen this happen before, where a driver got disqualified that quickly for trying to peel into the pits. That is just, I don't know. As the commentator, I usually have to always be ready to say anything, but after witnessing this scenario, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Just absolutely unbelievable event that we have just witnessed here. And if for anyone who is currently joining into the stream, if you guys are new here and you guys are loving what we are doing, then I would please ask that you guys can go ahead and follow the Twitch here. We do races almost every week or every 2 weeks. as we head through the season. Next race will be a 100% Saudi race. And if you guys would like to join Rush Racing League, there is a Discord link currently pinned in the Twitch chat. So if you guys are looking to join in with these incredible drivers and race with us, then you guys can definitely go ahead and join through that Discord link, and you guys can get signed up there, and you guys can definitely start your journey in the Rush Racing League. So now currently still under safety car. The whole grid has reformed, still going. Now they'll enter sector 3. I can guess that maybe the safety car, yep, the safety car will be in this lap, so it will be a restart into lap 8. David will take control of the field once again. David didn't get a great start. The first safety car. So now here we go. He takes control of the field as now they'll line up and get ready for the restart. A little bit more weaving is now into the turn. Everyone is ready to go. Still waiting, still waiting. And now the green light, the lights are out. They've started down the race. It looks like Ryan Anderson got a little bit of a good start. He is right behind him. He's going to go side by side, pinching down to the inside, back to the outside. And now here they go, side by side into the turn, around the outside. Can he hold on? David does. Around the outside, he's able to hold on from Ryan's great restart, and he will secure his lead right now going into the turn. Ryan Kuznick will get another 3-second time penalty added on. So far, no big changes. Barry will get his first time penalty. Tai had a fantastic restart. He originally was in P11, and now he's into P10, and he's closing in as others. And now Kuznick side by side with Splitsy, and he is right there side by side. A little bit of contact. Tai still there. Splitsy a little bit off the road, still side by side. As now Tai will also pass Splitsy, but now still side by side going into sector 3. But Tai will secure P7 and Kuznick P6 as well. And now David will get his first 3-second time penalty. So now the game has changed, where now the leader has a 3-second time penalty. Tai slides a little bit off the track, but now the leader now has the penalty is now. And now Illyrian's going to try for a move around the outside on Ryan. And now is he going to be able to make it stick? And now to the inside, and he will make it stick. Illyrian up into P2. And now with David trying to get as much distance. Now with that 3-second time penalty, it's going to come down to whether he can get that gap and secure the win with just about 11 laps to go. Or sorry, 10 and a half laps to go. And so far you can see the group of drivers here right now still keeping pace. A lot of the drivers still side by side right here. This group right here, you can see with from Ryan Anderson almost down to all the way to Barry. And now Splitsy's going to get another time penalty, 3-second time penalty. Barry gets another one. Or sorry, not Barry, another one. Our Autumn will get one. And now it looks like you can just see how close the drivers are all together. A little bit of a lockup. So now this is going to be a very interesting DRS train, as Ryan is the first one to not have DRS. You can see the train of cars. Now who's going to make the move? Kuznick's going to make the first move. And now there's contact. Kuznick got shoved into Tai. Neither car crashed. Kuznick up into P5. Tai stays in P7, and somehow Low Pro stays in P6. That could have been a very deadly situation. But now Tai will take over P6 anyway, and he'll get the pass done. But he will get another time penalty, and that'll be now 6 total seconds of penalties for Tai. And now Tai maybe looking for a move a little bit. He got a little close to Barry, or sorry, Tai got a little bit close to Kuzmarek, but he didn't have anything going. So now, as they come back around with just about 9 laps to go, Trevor will get another 3-second penalty, and now Autumn's out of the race. Autumn will crash, I believe, out of sector 3. He's over. They're over in the gravel. No safety car as he is off the track. Green flag back in the air. So now here comes DRS train round 2. So now we'll see who's going to be able to make the move. Ryan Anderson's the only one who doesn't have a move. Is now Trevor going to go for the move? He's going to try and hold it around the outside. He's not going to be able to do it. But Tai still side by side with Kuzmarek. Can he get the move done? Still side by side. And now Kuzmarek's off. And now Kuzmarek will crash. And Kuzmarek is out. And it is a full course caution. A VSC is out. As now Kuzmarek will reset to the track. He's going to have to pit. He is missing his entire front wing as the contact between him and Tai caused the crash. As now the VSC is out. So no full course safety car. So now with just about 8.5 laps to go, the VSC is out. David now with a 4-second lead ahead of Illyrian. That now David has to not get another penalty, and he has to try and make sure he keeps that gap still ahead. It says VSC is still out currently. And now, there we go. Green flag is back underway. And just in time for the DRS zone. And now here we go once again. Another DRS train incident. As now Ryan Anderson, once again, no DRS. Everyone else behind does. Trevor to the inside, back out to the outside. And now will he get it done? He will. Trevor will get the move done. He's going to try and secure it, but now look at Tai. Tai up in the inside. He will pass Ryan Anderson as well. And now it's side by side with Trevor. Will Tai be able to hold on? He's still side by side. And now contact, and Trevor will wreck Tai. Trevor will wreck Tai out of the race on purpose, shoving him off the road. So now Lopro will be launched into P3. Ryan Anderson in P4. Splitsy will retire from the race. Another VSC is deployed as Splitsy retires as well. What in the world is going on? That is the only thing that I can really think right now. It is pure chaos that is happening right now. Ryan Anderson now also has damage. Wildcat will get a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC as green flag back in the air. And now Ryan Anderson, he does have a little bit of damage. Barry right behind him has no damage. So now Ryan Anderson will barely, or no, he will not have DRS. But now Barry will be the next car that has DRS behind him. And now he's going to peel off into the pit. So Barry will improve into P3. So now Illyrian, and now Trevor will get a 10-second penalty. And Trevor will retire in the pits as well. So now Illyrian, David still in first. Illyrian P2, 2.5 seconds behind David. Lopro 10 seconds behind Illyrian. Barry trying to climb back to catch Lopro. Harold in fifth behind Barry. Tai still in the race, is now still in P6. and is still trying to make up time. John now with a P7 finish, despite all of his chaos and his war with 810 at the early start of the race. He is now in P7. Ryan Anderson after the pit is still now in P8. Wildcat now in P9, and Kuznick now in P10 as well. This has been one very chaotic race. As now it looks like the next one up to make a pass now, as we just about have 5 seconds, as Wildcat will make maybe spun in sector 1, but now it's cleared. The next one with DRS is going to be Tai. Harold will go to defend the inside. Tai will have DRS and ERS, and is he going to make the pass? It looks like he will very easily. He will pass Harold and get back up into P5. And Tai, despite the incident, will still have a very good shot of getting more and more points. And now look at that. Kuznick will set the fastest lap with a 1:23.698. Oh, but now Illyria will get us in. And now Tai has spun. Tai has spun out again. Another incident. So now John will move past him. Harold will move past him. As now Illyrian will also get a 3-second penalty. So right now, if everything ended as it was, it would be the same. And now it's going to be a safety car. Safety car has been deployed. And Illyrian will move into the lead. David will move into pit, and he's going to swap on the softs. And that could absolutely give him the chance. Tai will retire from the race. It was a valiant effort, but Tai will not be able to finish the race. And now you can see a majority of the other drivers have pit, and they are all swapping onto the soft compound. And this is going to be just an all-out blitz to try and get to the end. And especially Illyrian not having pitted, he's going to be the one who's most vulnerable, because you saw he could have pit. He had enough time that he could have slowed down and pit, but he chose to keep going. So now this next lap is going to determine whether or not he's going to pit or not, because if he pits now, it's going to be probably way too close if he wants to try and have a chance to win, because with the 3-second time penalties right now, with a safety car restart, Low Pro has the best chance of winning this race because he has no penalties. And especially with the safety car bunching everyone up together, that's going to be the big thing. You can see there's still a significant gap between the safety car here and the rest of the grid. So I'm wondering if Illyrian may try and get a pit stop in, because he may be able to and get back out. Barry will get another 3-second time penalty. It'll be 6 seconds total for him. So now here's the fateful decision. Will he do it? And he's going to try for it. Illyrian peels into the pits. So here he goes. Illyrian into the pits. Everyone else will move up, but Illyrian will also have a fresh set of softs as well. And when I said that this race was going to be chaos, this is definitely not what I had in mind. So you can see the rest of the field is starting to reform up. And right now, safety car's still going. We're on lap 26. So if safety car does not come in this lap, we may have a 2-lap sprint to the finish. But that is going to be the big question, depending on if the safety car will come in this lap or it will go in next lap. And now here we go into Sector 3. So now determining, will it be in? So far, no. The lights are still on. We have one more lap of safety car. So it looks like we're going to have a 2-lap sprint to the finish where we will restart the race on lap 28 with 1 lap, and then the next lap will determine it. So basically, this is going to be the interesting thing. The interesting thing about Qatar is that the DRS zone is before the start finish line. So there will be no DRS on the restart, but then there is no DRS for that next lap then, because DRS is not enabled. So this is going to be a flat out sprint to the end, all skill, all setup, all ERS battery management to the end to see who will win and who is going to get on the podium. So now Ryan Anderson will be the last driver to form up the grid. I couldn't think of a better ending to a more chaotic race. And honestly, now we're getting toward the end. We got to think of a driver of the day that I'm not entirely sure who we can give the driver of the day to, just because of all of the chaos and everything that's happened. And I mean, we can look at the positions gained. It kind of depends on I really think that depending on who wins the race, I think that might be the decision of who is going to get driver of the day, because I think David makes a great case for it. And there it is. Safety car in this lap. David will take control of the field. Lights are out on the safety car. David in first, Low Pro in second, Barry in third, Harold in fourth, John in fifth, Illyrian sixth, Kuznick seventh, Wildcat eighth, Ryan ninth. Here we go. The grid is formed up and ready for the last restart of the race. A 2-lap sprint to the end. David waiting for his chance, and now there he goes. He looks like he's going to get a better launch than he did in the last 2 times. But you can see, it looked like John didn't get a great restart, as now Illyrian is side by side, as now Illyrian will move past John. And now Kuznick looking for a move as well, and Kuznick's going to get the move done as well, as David is going to secure his lead ahead. Illyrian's going to get a 10-second penalty. Illyrian gets a 10-second penalty for ignoring the yellow flag, which I'm not entirely sure how there was no yellow flag. So I'm not entirely sure how he got the penalty. But now he's up into P4, as now David is doing everything he can to get as far away from Low Pro as possible, because Low Pro has no penalties. So if Low Pro can stay anywhere remotely close to David, Low Pro will win this race. As now Illyrian is doing his best as well to get kind of space. You can see that Low Pro is just pushing his machine to the limit. He's not only catching David, but he's getting as much space between him and Barry as well. So now here we go through the rest of Sector 3. David's still leading. He does go a little off of the turn. No caution or anything. John will get a 3-second penalty for track limits. But now here we go. White flag is in the air. Here we go. David will set the fastest lap. As now Low Pro does not have, there is no DRS in this lap. So here we go. Low Pro just getting anywhere close. As now Illyrian is going to get the move done past Barry. And now Barry is going to be in P4. But if he can hang on, more than likely he can still get podium because of the 10-second penalty. So now Low Pro, if he can just stay close, it is possible that Low Pro can get his first win of the North American Series. As David, we talked about it earlier, that 3-second time penalty was the thing that was really going to hurt him, as it really kind of seemed to hurt every driver. Has now starting through the rest of Sector 2 into Sector 3. He's 1.2 behind David, Low Pro is. So now, unless there is a mistake or something happens, right now David is going to lead the field down the front stretch. There's a caution in Sector 1, and now Barry's going to get a 3-second time penalty. More time penalties are being handed out. David will lead the grid down to the start finish line. He sets the fastest lap, but Low Pro with penalties will win the Qatar Grand Prix. David will get P2, and it's a Red Bull 2-3. Harold will get his first podium of the year. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I cannot believe what we have witnessed here. Low Pro will get the win here in Qatar, and then it's a Red Bull 2-3. Unbelievable. And I think that the driver of the day has to be Low Pro. Low Pro going the entire Qatar Grand Prix, not getting a single penalty, and then hanging out just long enough for the safety car to go and win it. So that will be the winner there. As you can see here with the final grid, Low Pro will win the Qatar Grand Prix. David in second, Harold in third, Ryan in fourth, Barry in fifth, John in sixth, Wildcat in seventh, Illyrian eighth, Kuznarek ninth, Tai 10th, Trevor 11th, Split C 12th, Autumn 13th, McQueen 14th, 810 15th, and then Meraki Dawn unfortunately 16th. And I can imagine that the stewards are going to have a fun time trying to figure out and sort all of these issues and everything. But what an unbelievable race. And if possible, can we please get the top 3 from this race here into the VC? If they are willing to do if it is possible. If they do not want to, it is completely fine. But just what an just unbelievable race. And I already know, like I said before, the stewards are not going to have a fun time trying to figure out how all of this is going to work and function. And I can imagine, especially if anyone's going to be the most frustrated, it's probably going to be Meraki Dawn and Tai. So just kind of just unbelievable. Right now, it doesn't look like we have anyone joining. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anyone joining for the interviews, so we can just go ahead and round off the stream. Wow. Final thoughts here. Absolutely unbelievable. I don't think there could have been a more chaotic race that I have ever seen. And I feel like I say that every week. And I feel like every single week, I feel like I witness something that is just unbelievable, and I can't like fathom it, but it happens every single week, and North America is just nothing, never a disappointment. Congratulations to the podium winners, and good luck. I give you all the sympathy to the stewards who are going to try and figure out everything that was happening, but I hope that you guys are going to follow us here on Twitch. Next week, we will be hosting the 100% Saudi race, 50% race, 50 laps of Saudi, and I hope you guys are going to be here for that. Follow us here on Twitch. Join us in the Discord if you want to join Rush Racing League, or go to YouTube and subscribe to us on YouTube if you want to watch back these videos or watch back these races at your enjoyment. That is all from me. That is all from GameHawk. I have been your host, your commentator here tonight, and I hope that everyone will have a great day, great night, wherever you guys are in the world. And this was Rush Racing League NA.
Can you feel it? The fire in your soul, leaping at the chance for love. Can you feel it? Haunting your senses, letting all your feelings go. But I can feel it, rushing through my veins.